Super League's entertainers put their 100% record on the line again, and if ever a team needed a victory, it's the Tigers. Just one win in their last 5. St Helens against Castleford rounds off the bank holiday weekend at Knowsley Road. And welcome along to the home of the league leaders, but they've come close to defeat in each of their last 2 matches. The big question tonight, can Castleford do to St Helens what London and Warrington so nearly did? Will you be able to find out with us here on Sky Sports tonight in the company of the Warrington captain, Paul Cullen, who joins Steve-O and me on the programme this evening. Paul, Warrington, as I say, came very, very close to beating St Helens. Do you think this 100% record of theirs is a little bit on borrowed time, do you think?
Well, Castleford are a side that can cause people problems, especially with Crooks in and around the rucks. He's a guy who likes a very short pass, and what that does to a defence is put you on the back foot and makes you work extremely hard. And Castleford have to be very, very intense and push St Helens to the limit. If Crooks begins to slip the balls and they connect, well, any side that's going backwards can make mistakes, and Castleford can cause them problems.
Steve-O, St Helens, they have been the comeback kings in Super League virtually all season.
Yeah, they showed a lot of courage. They've got great class out there, but I think one of their biggest problems is that Bobby Goulding is not playing for the full 80 minutes. He goes to sleep. We've seen it in the last 3 games. When he starts taking control, St Helens are an absolutely magnificent side, but he does have a tendency to go to sleep. But I think we might see a little bit better performance from Bobby tonight.
Well, it's the end of a very hectic weekend for Super League, matches stretching right the way over the past 4 days, and games that you've seen with us right here. The action started at Odsal on Friday night, and the crowds are booming at Bradford, up 50% on last season. Leeds provided the opposition. Nothing seems to be booming for them. "24 hours later, the Broncos checked in at Wilderspool, aiming to consolidate their position among Super League's elite. Warrington played out a classic 7 days earlier, and another one was on the way. Tony Ray, acting halfback, Gavin Allen once more. From the top to the bottom, and yesterday Oldham took on the club previously without a win in Super League, Workington. But the men from Cumbria showed fighting spirit. Now Maloney again. Crompton's there once more. That's the double act. This is Aitchison. Aitchison gets the pass out wide. I think Bell has got the ball down. With a big test here for this Workington defence. A defence that has been pretty leaky. Good long ball that had been stretched again. Aitchison tries. They are just 2 metres short of the line now, Workington. Their best opportunity. Marwood took the gamble. Crompton went for the intercept. This is Palmada. Palmada steps through, and Jason Palmada gets the try for Workington. Lee Smith plays the ball. It's now with Kitchen. Here's Bradnan. Palmada on an angled run. Palmada gets the ball away to Filippo and score. That's the last tackle. Now surely Kitchen will settle here for a one-pointer. They've got the penalty for offside and moving off the mark. This could be a vital call from the referee. Kitchen for the first victory. And Kitchen gets the two. And could this be the moment that Workington's season picks up a pace? 29-27. There are all the results in from Super League so far then, and the extra one at the bottom played this afternoon, and Paris 10, Halifax 38. 5 defeats in a row now for Paris, a revival for Halifax. That's the second win in a row. And tomorrow night, or rather Wednesday night, it's Wigan against Sheffield to round off round 9. Now this is the way it looks at the top of the table. The Saints, clear leaders by 2 points from Wigan. And where are Castleford, the opposition? They're in 8th place with 6 points from 8 games. Right, time for us to nip outside into the evening sunshine here at Knowsley Road. A few moments ago, the two captains emerged, along with the match mascot, Rebecca Louise Stevenson. Apparently, St Helens kick off. Castleford have won the toss. Let's have a word with the two captains now with Bill.
Thanks very much. Two captains, Lee Crooks, Bobby Goulding. Start with the home skipper first. Bob, Saints go into this game in great shape, but I shouldn't imagine Castleford are the sort of side you can take lightly.
No, Castleford are a very good side, led by Lee, very well drilled by John Joyner, and we're going to have to be at our best to beat them today.
Thanks very much indeed. Even though your injury hit again, Lee, you're underdogs.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, they're top of the league, we're 4th from bottom, so, you know, people will say we're underdogs, but at the end of the day, you know, we've been up for it in training all week. We'll see if we're up for it today.
We'll see, thanks.
We will see. Castleford are hit by injuries, but I can tell you that they haven't got a bad side out there on the field tonight, and that's a point that we will confirm for you when we return, because tonight it's St Helens, the league leaders with their 100% record, up against the Castleford Tigers. At the moment, the academy match is progressing on the field here, and Castleford are winning that one, I can tell you. Will Castleford win the big one? Find out with us. Stay with us here on Sky Sports. Saints, Super League's comeback kings, are aiming for their first league title since 1974-75. Castleford have suffered 5 defeats from their first 8 games. We see them tonight, and we'll see them again on Friday as well against Warrington here on Sky Sports. But it's Saints against the Tigers for you this bank holiday Monday evening, live and exclusive with us. Now then, who are the stars that you will be able to see on duty here tonight? The Saints have Steve Prescott at full-back, Arnold, Hunt, Newlove and Sullivan, he returns. Tommy Martin gets the nod at stand-off. Bobby Goulding's the captain. Up front, it's Perolini, Cunningham, Pickavance. He comes in. McVie and joint with Carl Hammond playing at loose forward for the first time in his St Helens career. On the bench, waiting to come on, Matautia, Haig, Morley and Booth, the coach, Sean McRae. Now the Castleford Tigers. Graham Steadman is the full-back. Smith, Anderson, Flynn and Middleton, Botica and Tony Smith. Up front for Castleford, it's Crooks, the captain, Maskill, Sykes, Schick, Harland and Tutor. And on the bench for the Tigers, Edwards, Flowers, Paramore and Chapman, the 2 new arrivals from down under for coach John Joyner. Well, Castleford then are without some of their biggest names, the likes of Richard Goddard, Richard Russell, Richard Gay, Dean Sampson, but there's no doubt they do have one undoubted star in their ranks.
Frano Botica was a point-scoring wizard for Wigan, but the broken leg he suffered playing for Auckland Warriors could have ended his career. He never doubted he'd return to the top flight, though, and now he's seen in Castleford's colours on and off the pitch.
I always knew that I'd be able to come back from the injury. Obviously, it was a broken leg and it was reasonably serious, but at the end of the day, it was just a bone which needed to be to heal. And my only other option was probably to go back and work, and that didn't sort of appeal to me, so I thought there's no way I'm doing that, so I'll definitely be back playing.
Frano's one of the first players to take advantage of the new world of rugby. After this Super League season, he's joining Orrell for a winter of rugby union, an option he'd considered while he was recovering from his broken leg.
It had crossed my mind, but it hadn't gone professional then, so unfortunately I couldn't afford to hang around and wait to decide or to see what developed with the rugby union, because I've got a family and I needed to secure things for them. So unfortunately it was probably a month or two too late, but in the end I think things have worked out quite well anyway.
32-year-old Frano has been in league for almost 6 years, and in that time he's amassed nearly 2,000 points in the British game. He's set goal-kicking and point-scoring records with Wigan, but is a strong believer in the motto that you're never too old to learn.
Although I've got a bit of experience, I'm still learning a lot about the game and about the play, and I can learn a lot from young players, and obviously they can learn a bit from me. So, you know, it's a great team. There's a lot of young players, like you say, and we're just trying to find that fine balance where we can start performing well, because we are at the moment, but we're going in ups and downs. We need to be a little bit more consistent, and I'm sure that we'll be up in the top 4 by the end of the season.
Frano Botica reckons on another 2 seasons in rugby, and after that he'll concentrate on his business interests, because he doesn't fancy a career in coaching.
It's a pretty stressful job. There's plenty of bald-headed managers out there, and blokes are losing a lot of hair and sleep and getting plenty of wrinkles, so I don't really want to be doing that. No. If I can help it, I won't be. No.
Not many who will blame him. Frano Botica, one of the greatest goal kickers in the world, against the Super League's top goal and point scorer today, Bobby Goulding. That's one of the battles that you should look out for, the battle against Botica and Goulding. But what about the one that Steve-O has chosen for us? It's the battle of the big men, Derek McVie up against Andrew Schick.
Well, it really is a case of Andrew Schick, the worker and the tackler, trying to cut down Derek McVie. He's a wonderful offloader of the ball, is the Australian. And if Andrew Schick can really get to him early in the game, then Saints may struggle. But if McVie continues to keep popping up the balls, then I'm afraid Saints could run riot.
The forwards always lay the platform for victory. We have a forward with us, the Warrington skipper, Paul Cullen. You know how important the early battle is. How do you think it will go between these 2 packs of forwards early on here? Be rigorous, won't it?
I'm sure it will. Tutor will leave his mark on this game. I'm sure he will. But McVie, as Steve-O said, is a man that can cause problems. He has the big left arm carry, he fends with the right, and always unloads the ball. And if Saints hit that kind of that feed and go forward as they can, well, they could run up a big score. I'll just go back to a point I made earlier, that Castleford have to be intense throughout the whole of this match. You know, their big job in the pack is to stem the flow from this St Helens pack, because they've got guys who can break from anywhere on the park.
There's a big crowd building up inside the ground, Steve-O, and St Helens always perform well on this big stage here at Knowsley Road.
Well, they seem to do in the first 40 minutes. They have a tendency, as we said before, that they can go to sleep, especially Bobby Goulding. But I think that Sean McRae, their coach, has done a very wise move in bringing in Tommy Martin to start the game. We've seen over the past couple of weeks that he's becoming the super sub, but I think he'll give them another option, and also the combination between Goulding and Martin, I think, is the best that Saints can produce.
Well, you got a glimpse there of the lovely warm evening sunshine that the crowd is basking in here at Knowsley Road tonight. I think that we have chosen perhaps the best evening of the bank holiday weekend for this one, and it's the league leaders, the Saints, who are up against Castleford Tigers. The Super League 100%ers, and that record goes on the line against a desperate Castleford Tigers team. Stay with us, we have the whole match coming for you next. The Saints, 13 straight league and cup wins, have not lost at home since New Year's Day, and up against the Castleford Tigers here at Nosey Road this evening in the sunshine this bank holiday evening. And emerging from the far side of the ground this time, new £70,000 dressing rooms opened this evening for the first time, and Lee Crooks leading his men into battle, still one of the best ball-carrying forwards in the game. He made his Castleford debut against St Helens some 6 years ago, and he has been in the game for 16 years. This is the moment that the Saints supporters have been waiting for, the emergence of Bobby Goulding and the St Helens team. They really are Super League's entertainers, playing so well, giving us so many great moments already, and Alan Hunt will be delighted to be part and parcel of this. Bobby Goulding, the man that Steve-O says has to play from the start to finish, and Kieran Cunningham, one of the top hookers in the game at the moment. He's only 19. Wales are blessed with wonderful talent with Cunningham and Wigan's Martin Hall. The St Helens team: Prescott at fullback, Arnold, Hunt, Newlove and Sullivan, Martin and Goulding who captains them. The forwards: Perellini, Cunningham, Pickavance, McVie, Joint and Hammond playing loose forward for the first time in his career at Saints. On the bench, Matautia, Haig, Morley and Booth. Coach Sean McRae. The Castleford Tigers: Steadman back at fullback, Smith, Anderson back after suspension, Flynn and Middleton, Botica and Tony Smith. The forwards: Crooks the captain, Maskell replacing the injured Richard Russell, Sykes, Schick and Harlan second row, Tutor the loose forward. And on the bench, Edwards the Welshman, Jason Flowers, Junior Paramore, who is a former Western Samoan Rugby Union international, and David Chapman from the Wynnum Manley Club in Brisbane. Coach, of course, one of the best of British, John Joyner. Match referee tonight is Robert Connolly, and it will be his job to call for the screen if the big screen is needed, he thinks, to make a decision about try or no try. It certainly is a feature of the Sky Sports visits around the Super League grounds this season. It's been a tremendous success, as have St Helens, 100% league leaders against Castleford Tigers, standing 8th in the table. The Saints, in the shape of Bobby Goulding, get us underway. Botica under the first kick-off, first run of the match and tackle on Andrew Schick. Graham Steadman goes into the dummy half role. Castleford playing with the sun in their faces. That could be interesting if Bobby Goulding hoists a high bomb early on, because the sun will take a little time to dip behind the stand away to our left. Maskell was the dummy half. This is Brendan Tutor. Tutor, New Zealand international. Maskell again. He gets the ball away to Nathan Sykes. Good tackling. Perellini and also Derek McVie. Draws applause from this crowd. It's back now with Steadman. Left-footed. He'll dink one over the top. And that is a good kick, because it will stay in touch in the field of play, and Steve Prescott must run this out. This is the zero tackle, but this is something that Prescott does so well.
Just went in and out of the winger then. Tremendous run by Steve Prescott. He's in fine form, but that was a good crunch tackle from Brendan Tutor. Whoa.
Robert Connolly took a look at it and said the contact was made on the chest, and he was absolutely right. But Newlove knows that Tutor is out and prowling this pitch. That's Ian Pickavance, been given the nod by his coach Sean McRae after making some tremendous impact performances for the Saints from the substitute bench. But young Andy Leatham is out injured. That's why Pickavance gets his opportunity. Goulding with the diagonal kick. Sullivan's after it, and Chris Smith is content to allow the ball to run into touch.
Tremendous kick from the Saints skipper. And you can see Sullivan charging down, but Smith quite happy just to shepherd the ball over the line. Tremendous brain on Bobby Goulding. He really does have great vision. But as we mentioned before the game, there's Chris Smith, one of the unsung heroes, I feel, in Super League. He really gets through some work.
Don't know whether you noticed the statistic on Bobby Goulding. Over 1,200 points for 4 British clubs, and he's still only 24. So much experience beneath that number 7 jersey for St Helens. It's Castleford, though, who are in possession with Tutor. Great tackle from Kieran Cunningham, and Tutor tried to play the ball quickly. Perolini came over and collided with him. It's a penalty to Castleford.
Well, Cunningham was holding him down. Perolini came in very late for the flop. Had to be a penalty by the referee Robert Connolly. But interesting to see the Castleford tactics. They're doing the crisscross move and bringing the ball back on the inside. Very tight to the play of the ball. Obviously, John Joyner feels that there is a little bit of a weak link in the Saints' defence in and around the play of the ball area.
Lee Crooks gets to his feet, plays the ball. It's Maskell who had a look round. Everyone was standing still, so he had to take the little run himself. Didn't make too much progress. Perhaps Stedman will now. Finds Andrew Schick with the pass. Good play from Schick, and it needed Danny Arnold and also Carl Hammond to bring him down. Now this is Tutor again. Bounces off Cunningham, but can't get through Perolini, who really is one of the biggest hitters in Super League at the moment, the St Helens prop forward. Stedman with a little kick through, collected well by Prescott, and he's being bundled back over his own try line. That's great defence from Cass.
Nice kick there. Stedman chipped over, but good chase. Simon Middleton leading. Flynn enjoying it there, but it really was good thinking. But good positional play by Steve Prescott. He really is in great form. But great vision by Graham Stedman there.
Drop out from underneath their own post. Good length on the kick too. Botica just inside his own half. Gives it to the big man, Schick, to have a run. He takes on Hammond, who stood his ground well. With a bit of help from Hunt, he brings him down. Maskell at dummy half. This now Nathan Sykes. Sykes running again at Cunningham. Pickavance is there to help out. Tutor on the burst, Brendan Tutor. It's quite a good start, this, from the Castleford Tigers. They look high on confidence. John Joyner was certainly confident when I spoke to him this morning. Stedman gets the ball away to Maskell. He looks out wide, tries to take on Chris Joint, but that's a big job in itself these days. Joint is playing so well. Botica plays a pass in front of the man. It was a forward pass, but the ball was knocked forward anyway. Lee Harland
just held on to it a little bit too long there, did Frano Botica. Lee Harland couldn't take it in. The option was there. Well, an enterprising start by Castleford. They're keeping this ball alive, and you could see how they're switching and running at the angles.
They will be encouraged that our cameras are trained on this match, because Castleford's only away win was seen live on Sky Sports, 34-30. Remember that thriller at Thrum Hall? And that was also over a bank holiday period. They're hanging on to Alan Hunt, though, and the crowd screaming for the penalty. Bob Connolly unimpressed. McVie dumps the ball over the top into the arms of Arnold. Danny Arnold, by the way, in the England squad, but on a bit of a try drought at the moment. He hasn't scored in 3.
Good defence, but an elbow there by Tutor.
And the referee saw it. Yeah, Bob Connolly saw it. Bobby Goulding trying to steal a few more metres. He was way, way back from there where he tried to take the penalty.
He didn't connect, but the intent was there. You can see there that he thought better of it just at the last moment. But either way, referee Robert Connolly saw it. Good defence, though. They're moving up quickly. Maskell and Tutor didn't connect, but the intent was there. He really is a fiery character, and he's had a good start to this game. It's been a good opening 6 minutes by the man.
Well, Brendan Tutor had a look out the side of his eye at the big screen, and when he was being admonished by referee Bob Connolly, he said to him, "Listen, ref, take a look at the screen. There was nothing in it." This is the big man, Derek McVie, one of the players singled out by Steve-O early on. Such an important cog in the Saints' wheel just at the moment. Here's another. That's Chris Joint. Adrian Flynn in there quickly, and Brendan Tutor, rather, with a bit of help from Lee Harland. There's Tutor again. New Love picks himself up. They're inside the 20-metre zone. Martin, and he finds Hammond. Hammond gives it across the face of play. Arnold was bundled into touch. No try.
Tremendous work there by Adrian Flynn, but it was a good move There you see it. Well, they tried to get it down, but he was over the dead-in goal line.
Well, I tell you what, Steve, the crowd have had a look at that on the big screen, and so have I, and it looks pretty close.
It was rather funny, wasn't it? You could see that the winger, Danny Arnold, went to the referee and did the square motion. This is the replay again, but I think you'll find that he was in touch in goal before he got that ball down.
Botica to Flynn, and out wide to Middleton, who's got some pace on him. Goulding's offering him the touchline. Ball inside to Tony Smith. Terrific tackle on Smith. He lost control. Oh, it's bubbling up, this.
Prescott went low, Perellini went high. The ball bounced out. The impact that did it. Prescott goes and Perellini, crunch time.
Well, the referee is standing them back a very shallow 10 metres at the moment. It means that St Helens must come this way and that before finding the opening. And this is Hammond. Hammond, he looks for support, and Arnold is there. Arnold cuts inside Middleton. And he's hauled down in the end by Stedman. Stedman's all over him. That could have been a penalty. Referee says play on. Goulding. Martin's missed out. It bounces awkwardly. Who wants it? Well, Joint dropped on it. He left it for Pickavance.
Well, Castleford, they can thank the prop forward Nathan Sykes for that late tackle. Desperate tackle on Danny Arnold. He was racing towards the try line. And then they've made a real mess of it. Joint lost it.
Frano Botica picks himself up, plays the ball. Maskill to Crooks, good hands. And good hands almost again there, because Tony Smith was sniffing the opportunity. Here's Crooks again. Straight up the middle, Crooks, and brought to earth with a thump.
Good tactics by Castleford. The tight inside pass from Lee Crooks, the big prop forward, in and around that play-the-ball area. John Joyner obviously feels that Saints have a problem in that area.
Stedman, lovely skills from Stedman. Stedman, he gets the touchdown, or did Flynn? I think Adrian Flynn got to it first, and he's given the try, and spot on Bob Connolly. No doubts about that. It was created by Stedman. It was scored, I fancy, by Adrian Flynn.
Tremendous skill by the fullback Graham Stedman. It went on the blind side, and there you kick the ball back underneath the post. It was well weighted. Steve Prescott hesitated. Flynn will claim this. He got there before the fullback did. A good call on the blind side. You can see how Saints held off. They were caught napping. They went to sleep on the blind side. Tremendous stuff. It was impeded as well by Steve Prescott, but it made no difference. Flynn, the centre, he makes it through. You'll see Prescott make a desperate plunge at him, interferes, and Flynn says, let's have it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe the hand of Graham Stedman on the super slow-mo showed that he should take the 4.
Well, who cares? Castleford will say, Stedman or Flynn. The 4 points is given. Stedman, I think, will claim his second try of the season. I wonder who will claim that. They certainly got downward pressure on the ball, both of them. Now, Frano Botica has scored with each of his last 18 attempts at goal. He's in deadly kicking form. That's 19 kicks in a row that Frano Botica has landed. And he's given Castleford a 6-point advantage here over the league leaders. Saints 0, the Tigers 6.
What a tremendous start, but let's see who actually did get the first hand to it. And it was Stedman.
50-50.
You try telling Graham Stedman. I think that the fullback got it just a fraction ahead of the centre, Adrian Flynn. Either way, they've got the first try of the game.
We've given it to Stedman, but I tell you what, they'll take half a try each. Doesn't matter. The score on the scoreboard is what counts. And the St Helens league leaders are behind the 8 ball again. And this crowd now doing its best to raise this team. McVeigh, a bustling run, gives it to Danny Arnold. Lovely ball inside from Arnold to Hunt, and he slipped. Now then, Cunningham trying to attack them down the touchline. Ball is Thrown back inside. Hunt gets it away to McVie. The movement continues.
Tremendous pass from McVie. The Australian super ball skills.
Hammond gets the pass away. And number 19 there came in flying. Grant Anderson with the tackle. This is Pickavance. Pickavance gets the ball away. Now then, Chris Smith and Anthony Sullivan having a bit of an argy-bargy. Big call here for the referee and touch judge.
Well, I can't understand Pickavance trying to get that ball away when there was a man in between Sullivan. Smith did well here, but as it turns out, it was on the last tackle, and it was deemed that Smith was actually tackled, so that's a play the ball. Well, what a great start from Castleford.
They're camped, though, 10 metres from their own line here. Andrew Schick will pick himself up. Maskell's the dummy half. Crooks gives it width to Flynn. Good tackling. Great tackle by Alan Hunt. Simon Middleton from dummy half. Hunt's after him. He escapes the clutches but can't get away from those two. Hammond and Perolini. Now Tuta. Oh, great run from Tuta. He's got support there from Maskell. Tony Smith. Tony Smith's got some toe. Sullivan has, and Sullivan gets him. Great defence. Oh, Sullivan's leaning all over him. Smith wants to play the ball quickly to Middleton. Looping pass to Chris Smith. Smith is tackled by Bobby Goulding and Sullivan, but it's a penalty.
Offside. They never went back the required 10. He played the advantage of the referee, Robert Connolly, and rightly so. Both Goulding and Sullivan failed to go back. And they were wrestling to him.
That's a penalty anyway. Sullivan went between the legs.
See him put the arm underneath, and that's against the rules anyway. But referee Robert Connolly had already blown for offside. He'd allowed the play on. But what tremendous play. It was a great burst by Brendan Tuta. Absolutely superb. He's in top form. He's here, and he really means business. And so does this guy.
He sure does. 19 out of 19 recently for Frano Botica, the goal kicker for Castleford. And this is bang in front, and this should be 20 out of 20 for Botica, the boot. Never a problem for Frano Botica from that range. And Castleford now hold an 8-point lead, but put it down to Tuta that got them in that position to attack. It was a super break.
You can't go high. There you see that Cunningham went through, and it wasn't the best, was it? Pickavance made a real meal of it. Good support by the hooker as well, Colin Maskell. The experience there. And this guy has got pace. And it had to be the speed of Anthony Sullivan that finally caught the little halfback. He did well, he didn't panic. He went down, made sure of possession.
Castleford restart then. Stedman with the kickoff. Underneath it, the most expensive player in the world, Paul Newlove. And Newlove makes 18 metres ground before he's flattened by 4 men. They know how dangerous Newlove is. They know how dangerous Sullivan is, the Welsh international. That was Lee Harlan doing the tackling. And this is Ian Pickavance, just slipped as he went to take that tackle. Castleford, they're treading on thin ice in terms of holding the man down in the tackle.
Having a big game is Hammond, playing at the loose forward position.
Here's the man who's replaced him at standoff, Tommy Martin. Gives it now to Steve Prescott. Oh, he turns Botica inside out. Arnold wants it in front of him. Arnold gets it, cuts inside Stedman, and Arnold's drought comes to an end. He hasn't scored for 3. He has now put Saints back on the board here. His 12th in Super League, but his first in over 3 games.
Tremendous skills from the fullback, Steve Prescott. Goulding stepped in, and there you see just bang. Watch this. In and out. Frano Botica didn't know where to go. Now Arnold was screaming, saying to Prescott, kick, but Prescott knew that he had the speed. Well stepped inside there by the young winger, Danny Arnold. That's a super try. Excellent stuff. Steve Prescott, look at that step. See how he rolled the ball across his chest. does it again. He thought about the kick, but knew he had the speed. Arnold was streaming for the kick, but finally receives the pass. And Saints, they've hit back.
Goulding tries to add the extras and adds 2 more to the total. St Helens 6, Castleford 8. We always have entertainment when we get to Knowsley Road.
Switchback, look at all that space. Was good work, but what a tremendous step off the right foot.
Danny Arnold, his first try since Wembley. That's how long it is since the young winger got over for 4 points in the England squad and the Great Britain Academy squad for the forthcoming international series. The dummy half for Castleford is Maskill. He gives it to Tony Smith. Smith offloaded the pass. Martin and Joint were there to cut Lee Harlan down. Maskill to Nathan Sykes.
Well, that will have settled the nerves of the St Helens side. They were hit with a blitz from Castleford. That really will get them back on song, and that's good pressure. Not the best kick from Stedman. Well taken by the Australian.
It bounced off the back. I think it was Tommy Martin who was closing Stedman down. St Helens in possession with Hammond and now Alan Hunt. Hunt, who didn't play at all last season, is revelling in Super League. But the referee will bring them back for offside. He allowed Saints the advantage. None forthcoming. So Robert Connolly gives St Helens the penalty.
That's good refereeing. Few of the Castleford side failed to get back the required 10. You can see there had about 4 to choose from. But good play by Alan Hunt. He's settling into the centres. Normally a wingman, but he's doing exceptionally well, and Saints have taken a quick tap.
Perolini with the first drive up the middle. Cunningham's moved into dummy half as per normal to direct operations. Pickavance almost run over the top of Botica. Cunningham's there again. Quick play the ball. Goulding, scampering run, drags Newlove back on the inside. Desperate defence from Lee Crooks and Anderson to keep him out. This is Tommy Martin. Martin looked over the shoulder. Nobody was there. Cunningham again.
He never played that ball.
And there was a hand in there from Castleford.
Yeah.
Saints have got the penalty.
Right in front. They'll take the gift too. See the big prop forward Sykes just flick the ball away. It was well spotted by Robert Connolly.
Silly thing to do though, Steve-O. Sykes was in front of his own post. The danger for the time being anyway was gone.
Well, maybe he's thinking to give away 2 is better than a possible 6. Well, it's been all action, hasn't it? Both sides prepared to keep this ball alive. Here you see a replay. Definitely interference there by Sykes. He must have been thinking, let's just have 2. We were really stretched there. You know, Eddie, I keep looking at this Steve Prescott week in, week out, and I'm still amazed that he's not in the England squad.
Well, Bobby Goulding is. He has got the nod ahead of Sean Edwards, and Goulding has kicked St Helens level. It's 8 points all, courtesy of that penalty. But you're right, if there's a better fullback in the business just at the moment, we've yet to see him.
He's good at defusing the bombs. His positional play is good. His defence also is good.
Radlinski of Wigan, of course, has got the nod ahead of him in the England squad.
Yep. Let's not
He's
take
not bad either, really.
No, let's not take anything away from the youngster, but dearie me, I'd like a man like Steve Prescott on my side in any team.
Well, we're about midway through this first half. About time, I think, we heard from our guest Paul Cullen, who is pitchside with Bill.
Paul, 5 minutes ago we were saying just how canny Castleford have been in the opening 15 minutes, but they really have been hit, haven't they?
They've been hit very hard at the moment, but prior to that, the short ball off Lee Crooks was causing St Helens an awful lot of problems. They're working that St Helens defence very hard in and around the rucks, and that's an area that they can exploit and can make St Helens pay. But every time Saints get the ball, they look like scoring. Their confidence is supreme.
That's great tackling by Danny Arnold on Adrian Flynn, and Flynn knows it too. And Arnold had a couple of words to say to Adrian Flynn after he dumped him into touch.
Flynn felt that too. Good work by Danny Arnold. He allowed him the chance to go on the outside. Arnold knew that he had the pace to get to him and the strength.
Interesting to hear the comments of Paul Cullen, Steve-O. He's giving his old mate, Lee Crooks, big raps tonight. They were, of course, Colts tourists together way back in 1982.
Well, he is playing well. No better ball handler than Lee Crooks, and he's showing that tonight.
Goulding gets the pass away, and this is McVie. He's got Danny Arnold there, but Arnold had to stop to take the pass, and Middleton cut him down.
You talk about ball skills. That McVie's not bad either.
That's a header off Chris Joint.
He was the dummy runner.
Grant Anderson's there to pick up the pieces. No advantage, says referee Robert Connolly, so let's put the scrum down.
Goulding doing the right thing, running across the face of the defence. That's one way to stretch them, but Joint was supposed to be the dummy runner.
Just hit his shoulder, actually, didn't it?
Yep. There was a second phase of attack coming through, and that's what Goulding was looking for.
Well, it's 8-all here at Knowsley Road, and the Saints have scored 53 tries prior to tonight. That's 22 more than Castleford in Super League. It's the Goulding-Botica kicking battle, of course, that could well sway this match one way or the other.
Tremendous tackle there by Newlove.
Oh, Brendan Toos is having a field day. He's dropped the ball, though. It's gone out. He tried to force the pass. It wasn't necessary.
Tuta running out wide on this occasion. The first break was down the centre, but he's made a real meal of it, hasn't he? Trying to keep this ball. Well, it definitely came off Newlove's feet.
And Newlove, I think, made a play for the ball, didn't he? So,
yep.
And the ball went out, so it's Castleford's head and feed. This is Botica. The angled run was from Grant Anderson. Anderson right on the halfway line, and he felt that late challenge from Perolini. Schick. Oh, dumped to the ground by Tommy Martin. Stood him up, dropped him. And Martin, not the biggest, but Schick is. That's a forward pass. Grant Anderson thought he was away, but the crowd told the referee if he had any doubt.
You can see with the body language there of the prop forward Nathan Sykes, he left it too late to get the ball away. But look at the tackle here. This is strength. Martin, Schick, couldn't believe it.
Goulding out to Arnold. Middleton has Arnold, so does Tuta, so does Crooks. Castleford's defence marshals itself as McVie carries the ball up to the halfway line again.
Having a big game, isn't he? McVie working hard, offloading. Well, maybe Saints have to look towards... Oh, that'll be a penalty. Crooks pulled him back.
Well, the referee, Robert Connolly, was saying to Lee Crooks, leave him, leave him. And Lee Crooks just had another little snap at the ankle.
Desperation there, Crooks. Saying that gives this team, so he thought, a bit of time to get back into their defensive line. But, well, they've opted for a quick tap again. Eager to keep this ball alive. But I just get the feeling that Saints have to change their tactics a little bit. We've not seen the kicking game from Bobby Goulding, the short little chip over yet.
We've seen McVie, though, making great yards up the middle. And Cunningham to Goulding, to Martin. Big hole for Martin. Tommy Martin scores. Well, Tommy Martin has been coming on and impacting into games as a substitute. And he gets the opportunity today to show what he can do from the start by his coach Sean McRae, and he's come up front.
One of the basic run-around. It's as old as the houses, this one. He didn't even get to him. He could see the gap appear. Schick couldn't get anywhere near him, and this guy, who has been called super sub until today, he started the game. The smile says it all. But Bobby Goulding doesn't even get to the runaround before he sees the gap. Schick failed to move in. Harlan was out wide, and it was enormous.
Tommy Martin, he missed all of last season, substitute in the last 8. But he has come on for 4 tries. That's his 5th in Super League. And this is Bobby Goulding now with the conversion attempt. And Goulding doesn't miss from there. The league leaders in a 6-point lead, 14-8.
3 defenders, far too tight. Look at the gap. Could have built a couple of semis on that. Bang. Tremendous try. Great vision.
Tommy Martin in the side from the start for the first time in over a year and revelling in it. There he is, dumping another player to the ground, Lee Harland. Chris Smith plays the ball, Maskill to Crooks. Crooks, oh, it was, I tell you what, a dangerous little pass to Grant Anderson, and Anderson back in the side after suspension did well.
Anderson had a little look at Crooks there. Bit of a hospital number, this one. Martin was really onto him.
That's the last tackle for Castleford. They're only just over halfway, but they've made 53 metres. Stedman will drill the ball now towards the corner. It will stay in the field of play. Maybe. No. Prescott knew better than me.
Just a little bit too strong there from Graham Stedman. But he did create the Castleford try with a neat kick over. But full credit to Saints. They were rocked to their bones with a Castleford lead of 8-0.
Oh, look at Cunningham. Tremendous play from the Saints hooker.
So strong, isn't he? Always willing to take on the defence. One of the best hookers in the world.
And Goulding creates a bit of space for New Love, who goes in and out on Chris Smith. Gets the pass away to Anthony Sullivan. Sullivan is grounded. Joint to Goulding. Tommy Martin to Prescott over the hands with flip passes and then all along the ground, and Danny Arnold just can't pick it up.
Well, it went from basketball to Crown Green bowls, didn't it? Look at that. Bend your back, son. He really should have flopped his body onto it. Chance gone begging. Castleford were caught short there in defence.
Tony Smith gets the ball from the base of the scrum, gives it to Stedman. Little run, halted again by Tommy Martin. Pick advancing quickly with Joint to quell the danger from Grant Anderson. Now Nathan Sykes. Martin's getting through a ton of work, Steve-O.
Yeah. Well, he's obviously repaying his faith from the coach, Sean McRae, to start this game.
Tutor does well. The movement is kept going. This now is Crooks taking on Carl Hammond. Oh, he looked to pass the ball round the back of the man. Lee Harland was steaming up there. Oh, and they took a chance there. Adrian Flynn had to scamper into the dummy half. Great tackling by Alan Hunt on Tony Smith. Botica in the dummy half now. High kick from Botica. He's after it. He's after it. And he was impeded in back play. Ball bounces kindly for Saints. Cunningham has it for them.
This is okay. You can use the shoulder charge to it.
Alan Hunt now. Tackled by Botica. Perolini.
Important time now for Saints, even though they've taken the lead 14-8. They've got to consolidate, make sure that they play out their 6.
Goulding away from Tutor. Thought about the inside ball, took it on himself. Tried to pass it round the man to Sullivan. Holds his head because it hits the advertising boards.
He knows it too. It was a case of a bridge too far. They were always going to run out of space. Nice play though by Goulding. But there was no area to get through there, and Bobby Goulding knew it. So did Sullivan.
Lee Schick is going off the field, and he will be replaced by Junior Paramore. Paramore will pack down in the scrum. Adrian Flynn still on halfway. He's tackled by Martin, inevitably.
Well, we're talking about the importance for Saints to consolidate and play out the 6. Bad mistake early in the tackle count by Goulding. That applies the pressure, and the way that Castleford are playing, they've got the ability to make the break and add points before the half-time.
Stedman and Harland, now Tutor, over the top to Middleton. He's grounded. Maskell is the dummy half. Crooks takes the tumble. That's the last tackle. Here now is Steadman. Steadman dabs it towards the corners, and Middleton was after it, and Prescott was taking no chances.
Tremendous positioning by the fullback, Steve Prescott. It was a nice option by Steadman, but you can see that the fullback was in tremendous position. He knew that heavy traffic was coming towards him. Safety first, make sure he got the ball away. He really is in fine form this season. Here you see it. It's all about positioning, making sure that you can cover all the area.
Botica now for Castleford. Ran into the brick wall called Ian Pickavance. Here's Paramore. First touch for the former Western Samoan Rugby Union international. Botica sees a gap. Martin quickly closes it down with Goulding. Steadman to Crooks. Crooks, the ball was bounced out of his hands. Prescott picks it up, but has to take the tackle. It's a zero tackle, though.
Bad mistake by Crooks there. And really did need that possession to launch an attack. He was trying to look to get the ball away. Tony Smith was off his shoulder.
McVie does well to Alan Hunt, but credit Simon Middleton, who kept hold of his shirt tails. Here's Pickavance.
Been some tremendous offloads by Derek McVie.
Here goes Cunningham again, right up the middle, through Tony Smith. Oh, great stuff from Cunningham. And good job that Paramore was there to bring him down. Goulding to Perolini. Perolini will score. A tremendous try from St Helens. Paramore was out of the defensive line after having made the tackle, and Perolini saw the hole and shot quickly through it.
Castleford have paid the price for that bad mistake. You can see one of the players in the background having attention. But good play by Bobby Goulding. He changed the switch of attack. And this kid, big guy, he really can go. He's got all the speed. But you can see how Goulding comes back on the inside. And that's how to run onto the football. Nothing wrong with this beat. Super stuff.
And Apollo Perolini celebrating his 60th St Helens appearance with his 4th try in Super League. Bobby Goulding then with the conversion attempt. This, by far, is most difficult. He's got 3 out of 3, though, tonight already. Oh, he's kicking well, isn't he? He kicked that and turned immediately. Bit like a golfer who knew that the ball was going to land in the heart of the green. 20 points to 8.
Defenders having problem going back. That's a run from Goulding. See how he runs and switches. Oh, this is great stuff. And the big fella, look at the gap there. Bang. No one got anywhere near to him until the last stages, but Steadman knew the big fellow had the strength.
Perolini's try. It's 20 to 8 at almost 20 to 9 on a bank holiday Monday evening. Castleford on the back foot for a while now. They need to find something towards half-time.
Well, the confidence there from the Saints skipper, Bobby Goulding. He really did attack the Castleford defence, and yet another bad mistake from Castleford. Nathan Sykes won't be happy with that. Wasn't the best pass from Tuta, but you should be able to get those.
Let's go straight down to Bill.
Andrew Schick has had a brief stint on the bench because he's had to come straight back on number 11 for Castleford in place of Colin Maskell, who while that try was being scored was lying up at the other end of the pitch, very groggy indeed, took a nasty bang on the head. It's actually a blood bin substitution. Maskell has got stitches to his head, or it sounds as though he's going to have stitches.
And he's watching now as Prescott cuts them to pieces again, and Prescott scores another Saints try. Well, it's gone from bad to worse for Castleford. We have had 3 tries in the last 10 minutes from Saints. Martin, Perolini, and now Steve Prescott.
One of the few clubs in Super League that work a move from the base of the scrum. Goulding peeled off to the blind side, and the loose forward picked it up, Hammond. And the fullback chimed in with absolute wonderful precision. Left it pretty late, though, to plant the football. They stretched them. Look at the angle run. But didn't he leave it late? Oh, just.
They all watched that here in the ground with you, Steve-O. And they knew, and look at the face on Steve Prescott. He knows how close he was to the dead ball line. Goulding clips over his 5th successful kick. First try on home soil for Steve Prescott. St Helens well in command.
Goulding goes to blind, loose forwards goes there, it attracts the defence to him, and bang, you get the extra man. And look how he runs. Good dummy runner, in and out. Flynn had no chance. That is a wonderfully worked try. Oh, closey close.
Paramore. Nearly through, but good tackling from Hammond. It's been a good workmanlike performance, this, from St Helens. Remember, they went down early. They were 8-0 adrift, but they've scored 26 points without reply.
Well, the first try from Castleford certainly stung them into action. That's high. Joint will have a good talking to for this. Tutor would have felt it. Whack. That was a bad one. Well, we've seen over the last couple of weeks players sent straight away for this type of thing, and that was a bad one by Chris Joint. He's lucky boy. He's still on the field of play.
And Tutor is holding and rubbing the jaw, but Castleford have not found touch from that. This is Alan Hunt. Oh, and he went straight into the back of Tommy Martin like a 10-pin bowling alley then. Martin went down, and Martin knocked him down as well, Alan Hunt.
He felt that. He caught Grant Anderson's wonderful play, though, by Alan Hunt. Not only did he just save it, he picked it up and run through and then got a bad clash with the knees from Grant Anderson. And he's feeling a little bit sore, is Alan Hunt, at the moment. There you can see him on his haunches.
This is Carl Hammond, revelling in the loose forward role. And that's half-time. Well, Brendan Tutor is still holding on to the right-hand side of his face as Prescott and Perolini go off after an excellent first half's work. They, the scorers of 4 tries in 20 minutes. But Castleford, having led 8-0, will wonder where it all went wrong. Tutor most certainly will. He'll go on to have the jaw looked out, I'm sure, in the dressing room during the half-time break. But it's entertaining stuff from the Saints at Knowsley Road. And Tommy Martin, usually the super sub, on from the start for the first time in 12 months, has made his mark. St Helens 26, Castleford Tigers 8. St Helens 26, Castleford 8. They've scored 4 tries in 20 minutes to take hold of this game. Arnold, Martin, Perolini, Prescott, Goulding 5 out of 5. And Stedman and Botica with 2 goals have given Castleford the perfect start. 8 points to nil it was. 26-8 it is at half-time. Sean McRae, the St Helens coach, says, whatever you do, don't call us invincible. But they're now 13 and a half matches without defeat. And Paul Cullen, I think it's safe to say that they are looking, here at home anyway, pretty much invincible.
The confidence in this St Helens side is visible. You can actually see the guys gathering momentum and shouting for the ball. On one or two occasions, guys are running across each other's paths, trying to come off Bobby Golding, who's hitting the line, the advantage line, at pace and going forward and just dragging this Castleford defence all over the park. They're a side that have chosen not to kick on occasions. There were points to be taken from penalties. Bobby Golding's decided to tap the ball and run. They know they're going to score tries when they're in this kind of mood.
And it was all going right for Castleford, and your mate in particular, Lee Crooks. I know you toured with him 82. He's a big mate of yours, but, I mean, he has been playing quite well, hasn't he? But he's not been able to spark the Castleford team into anything over the past 20 minutes.
Well, I mean, Lee Crooks is the standout player for Castleford. We mentioned that short ball, turning the ball back inside on the rucks. It's a favoured play of Lee Crooks's. It's very, very hard to counteract. You have to work extra hard on the inside lock on defence, and he caught St Helens cold a little, early in the game. But he's not had the support that he deserves. But I think regardless of what Castleford are going to throw into this match, it all depends on how St Helens simply go forward. They want the ball, they want to score tries, and they want to win this game.
They do, and there's no doubt about it, Steve-O. They are playing on such confidence at the moment.
Well, I thought the early try by Castleford probably just helped them along because they were a little bit lethargic. Their defence wasn't all that good in the opening few minutes. And then they realised they had to start doing something. And we said before the game started that Tommy Martin, Bobby Goulding, and the combination is working. We've seen more running from Bobby Goulding now. We're not seeing as much kicking, which has surprised me, but with the confidence of Martin and Goulding running the angles, you've got the big guys like Perolini running into the opening, but they're working for each other. They are working like a well-drilled unit, and they are squeezing out those gaps. And when you've got a man like Prescott who can chime in from the full back, they've got a good side.
They have got a good side. You mentioned Steve Prescott. You mentioned him also in the commentary. You can't understand why he's not in the England squad, because he's playing so well. And you've picked out something from his try, haven't you?
Well, I think that the way that we were saying that the team itself, a team that makes the effort. Look how Bobby Goulding goes on this side. And then they run that way, going across, and it brings the defence in. Now, this is what we call creating the extra man. You can see how it goes. They just hesitate. And once they start getting the ball out wide, notice how the fullback, they use the dummy runner, bang, hold it there, and just look at the gap, straight through. Now that is working the angles. Tremendous player. He's just absolutely superb in this game. His vision is good, the timing is good, he comes in at the angle, but that was worked for. That's something that comes about by all the hard work on the training ground. And that shows that St Helens now, with a new coach, Sean McRae, are getting it together.
Well, now you've got something else you want to pick out for us as well from St Helens, yeah?
Well, yeah, they really are creating things, aren't they? They've got things going for it. And notice that we mentioned that Bobby Goulding is running the angle. Let's just run it on a little bit there. And then just stop it. You see how he runs? And then goes past the second marker. Look at this area here. This is vision again from Bobby Goulding. He can see that the defence is moving back. Castleford defence on the back foot, and when this guy launches himself, even a brick wall wouldn't stop him. I mean, it's just a tremendous effort. And it's not just because of the Castleford's bad defence. They are working hard to stretch them. Thinking, Bobby Goulding, seeing that they were slow to come up on the blind side, bang, let's change the direction of attack. Great stuff.
Paul Cullen, of course, faced this St Helens team just, what, 6-7 days ago. What do Castleford have to do now to try and stop them in the second half?
Well, someone online has got to try and stop Derek McVeigh unloading this ball. He has been outstanding for St Helens in the first half. I can't remember the guy being tackled with the ball and going down without a fight. The ball's being thrown around his back, over his shoulder. He's determined. The guy's on a mission to unload the ball. That puts the defence on the back foot. And then when Goulding hits the line, as he does, well, Cass are in all sorts of problems.
They are in all sorts of problems. They trail at half-time. And it's a big lead for them to make up against the Saints, who, in this mood, are rampant. They lead, and they lead well at half-time to the Saints, the 100% league leaders, and they're catching the eye from 1 to 13. 26 points to 8 at half-time. Can Cass fight back? Stay with us and find out. Castleford have lost twice away from home at Bradford and Sheffield, and at half-time they're on course to lose a third time. The Saints ahead by 26 points to 8 at the break. 4 tries in a glorious 20-minute spell, and Tommy Martin, one of those try scorers. Arnold, Perolini and Prescott getting the others. Tommy Martin, used as a substitute throughout this season, but playing from the start. Former Great Britain under-21 international, and my word, he could well be on the verge of more international honours if he keeps up this sort of form. Behind his skipper, Bobby Goulding, who runs the show here at St Helens. 24 years old, that's all. 9 caps for Great Britain, 4 England caps, and by the looks of things, he's about to make it 5 England caps, because he's been preferred, probably for the first time in his career, to Sean Edwards as the #1 scrum half at international level. Graham Steadman is the veteran Castleford fullback, 34 years old. Needed 18 points for a career 2,000 before today, and still needs he's 4 points better as far as that's concerned. Or is he? Was it Steadman or was it Adrian Flynn who got the try in the first half? Steve-O's convinced it's Steadman, and who am I to argue with him?
That'll make a change.
Second half here at Knowsley Road's underway. We're live on Sky Sports tonight as the league leaders aim to consolidate their 100% record at the top. It's all going according to plan at the moment. Can Castleford fight back and give them a shock in this second half? Newlove. Been fairly quiet, Paul Newlove, the £500,000 man, but always with the opportunity to explode into a game. And look at the way McVeigh takes it up the middle.
He's getting better with each game, isn't he? Such a strong man. About 5 or 6 offloads in the first half, and this man also. Kieran Cunningham, what a star. But I'm sure that the Saints coach, Sean McRae, would have said to his chargers, look, we have this game now, but let's make sure that we really do press on with it. We've seen over the past couple of weeks that Saints have a tendency to go to sleep. Will we see the real Super Saints now?
Junior Paramore takes the tackle, the second. Tutor from dummy half, good to see him back out on the field, second 40. Remember, he went off rubbing his jaw, but wouldn't appreciate that. The pass from him went definitely forward.
Bad mistake, trying to keep the ball alive in heavy traffic. Perolini's arm was in and out.
Here's Alan Hunt now. News of Colin Maskill, the Castleford hooker. He's got 4 stitches in a wound in his head, so he will maybe come back second half. We shall see. Martin helps it on to Pickavance, to Hunt, to Newlove, to Newlove. Did I say he was quiet? Did I say Newlove was quiet first half? Well, he's come alive now. Newlove with the try. And tries in 7 consecutive Super League games for Paul Newlove.
Once again, a lovely break down the blind side by Derek McPhee, and then the link. That is super stuff. Goulding, Martin, switch on, Hunt onto the big centre, and there's just nothing that Grant Anderson could do about that. He just slips by would-be tacklers with so much ease, but the link was superb. Look at that, flowing stuff. Tremendous. See how he just moved the ball away, he didn't have to defend. He knew that he had the swerve and the strength to get there.
14 tries now in the England squad for the European Championships with his captain, Bobby Goulding. European Championship, of course, you'll be able to follow every kick of the way with us on Sky Sports next month. And Goulding, tremendous kicking from Bobby Goulding tonight. 6 from 6, 32 points to 8.
What's the short ball to Pickavance, which will bring the 2 defenders, and once you get the link, see how they hesitated there. That is great stuff. It was well worked. Only about 6 inches, but it was enough to just stretch that defence.
High hanging kick. Crooks took it, but he was barreled by the tackle from Alan Hunt.
Good defence. He's had a big game in the centres, Alan Hunt. Seems to be reveling in the fact that he's got more work to do, both in attack and defence.
Well, Alan Hunt, the ball was stolen, meanwhile, from Nathan Sykes, but Alan Hunt in the side, and who knows, he could well cement a place with Scott Gibbs, being out injured and known to be unhappy in rugby league.
Well, he's playing very well. Perolini, the man that reefed the ball away in a two-man tackle. And once again, we see Castleford with an awful kick. At least it did make touch this time, but it went backwards by about 3 feet.
Smith to Crooks, tried to bounce Bobby Goulding out of the way, but Goulding, flat out on the floor, wouldn't let go of his bootlaces. Now this is Tony Smith. That's better from Tony Smith, but no one really in support for him. He had to take the tackle. Here's Crooks again, ploughing a lone furrow. Lee Crooks.
Castleford have to be a little bit more adventurous now. Really go through the repertoire of moves, and that's good play, but good defence also.
Chris Smith. Chris Smith takes it on the last tackle. Now Steadman. Diagonal kick. Flicked off the fingers of Paul Newlove, and Anthony Sullivan picked up the bits behind him.
Nice option by the fullback Graham Steadman. Run to the open side and then brought it back onto the blind. But Newlove did get a fingertip to make it go back. What a big game this Australian's having. Derek McVie. He's in everything.
Well, he wasn't at Wembley, he was cup-tied, but he's determined to make his mark on Super League because he missed out on that occasion, and he wants to win the Super League title, as all these St Helens players do. Mentioned earlier, they are aiming for their first title since 1974-75.
Perolini down there, twisted the knee, I think, in the tackle. Offside. And trying to grab underneath the leg, which is against the rules. Any attempt to put the arm under there, you see it. You can't do that. Lee Harland, the man that was caught. Well spotted by Robert Connolly there.
And Perolini looks in a lot of trouble. And that will be a blow to St Helens, that the Terminator has to go off. Getting warm applause from the crowd. He's a big, big favourite here. This is the way the injury came about. Oh, it's a twisted knee, Steve-O.
Yep. He was in a lot of agony. He did well to get up and actually play the football. A sad sight. Really is a popular fella here.
Chris Joint, he is as well. Tutor gets to him, but he manages to offload to Steve Prescott. Good tackling in the end from Paramore. Goulding. Perolini goes off and Simon Booth comes on. This is Alan Hunt meanwhile. And there's Simon Booth. First touch of the ball for him. Unloads the pass to Carl Hammond. Hammond tries to skirt outside Botica. Botica does well.
Made a good fist of it at the loose forward as Hammond.
Goulding drags Martin back on the inside. Botica there again with the tackling. And also, that's Tutor underneath all that lot.
Will we see a kick from Goulding eventually?
There it is. He tried to slide it through. And Castleford have got the ball back. But the referee will put the scrum down. And he gives Saints head and feed.
Well, it's deemed that Botica made a move for that. No, offside. Well, if it's offside, then he must be a penalty. There's no knock on there. Goulding puts the kick through. The ball comes off Tutor. Botica is in an offside. It should be a penalty.
Doesn't matter. Newler's in. His second try of this second half. How dare anyone say Paul Newlove's had a quiet influence on this game. He's exploded at the start of the second 40. 15 Super League tries. He's the top scorer in the country.
Well, if there's any Spanish viewers, they would like this. Matador stuff. 2 feet, boom, lovely. I don't want to say that Adrian Flynn is anything like a bull, but that was superb stuff. Sheer skill. For such a big man, he just steps. Twinkle toes here. Look at that. Sheer class.
Ole Paul Newlove. And Bobby Goulding has added the extras. He kicked the conversion very quickly. 38-8, Saints totally in control, and now doing their points difference the power of good. Here's the Goulding conversion, bang in front, 7 from 7 from Goulding. Mentioned Botica and his kicking before the match, Steve-O. Look at the enthusiasm in this St Helens team, right the way throughout the side. But we mentioned Botica's kicking. Goulding doesn't kick a bad ball either.
No, he's in top form. And they really are relishing the fact that the combination of Tommy Martin and Bobby Goulding has taken the pressure off each other. And they're actually bemusing this Castleford defence. But that is great defence too. He's sparked up as Newlove in the second half.
Oh,
knock on
Tommy
there.
Martin thought he was away.
It was worth a try at 38-8. Why not? I'm not so sure that Martin didn't step off at the play of the ball a bit too soon. The rule states you must stand behind and be straight.
Well, we've got some news of Paul Newlove now, Steve-O, and here's Bill with it.
Despite the fact that Paul Newlove has scored 2 tries, the Saints bench are thinking of taking him off. Just before that burst of try scoring from the Saints centre, he was just hobbling a bit, and I think they're still a bit concerned about him, and Vila Matautia is just warming up, ready to come on. But Paul Cullen, it really has been a fantastic second half performance from Saints.
Oh, without question. And if we look to some of the St Helens players who are warming up on the touchline, Matautia looks immensely strong. He's itching to get onto the park. They have an attitude where they want to play football, they want to score tries.
Well, not all of them, because we've got a brouhaha going on now, and Brendan Tutor and Derek McVeigh involved there, and play just brought to a halt as that one's sorted out.
Referee stops the clock. Tutor involved. He took a clang late in the first half, and he's obviously not too impressed with the way the scoreline's going either.
It was a real old Donnybrook, as they say in Australia. And in the background, look to the right, McVeigh throws one, Tutor does, bang, bang. Tutor's winning on points at the moment, but McVeigh comes back. You can see him chase. Well, he doesn't like it. He's a fiery customer. And this was all going on while Castleford were trying to launch an attack.
Referee has gone for the pocket. Derek McVeigh gets 10 minutes in the sin bin. And McVeigh's asking him what it's for. And Bobby Goulding says, never mind what it's for, just go. And he wants Tutor, I think. And Tutor's getting 10 minutes in the sin bin as well. Well, we saw a bit of a scrap at Warrington on Saturday evening, and it ended with a red card. Discretion, the better part of valour for Robert Connolly. And listen to the reception for Tutor.
That'll calm them down. Just lost control, both of them, but you could see that Brendan went for him.
This, meanwhile, is Nathan Sykes, and I think in all the pandemonium, Nathan Sykes has got it down. Referee goes for the screen. The referee calls for the video ref to take a look at it. He was unsighted, Robert Connolly. No wonder.
Little down in my mind. Look at that. Bang. Try time. Well played by Nathan Sykes. Saints were still hanging around, a little bit bemused about the fight. And 2 in the sin bin.
So we're now waiting for the decision from the video ref. Here it comes. Castleford get the 4. Nathan Sykes with the try. Sykes, 4 points for Castleford. I think players on both sides were slightly distracted by the fact that that fight had gone on. 2 men off. Sykes ain't complaining.
No, and Saints held back. You could see they hesitated instead of moving forward, and the big prop forward really went over. That was good work by Sykes. Quick thinking, had a quick tap, got on with the game.
So Nathan Sykes gets the try. ever present so far. And he was on the team sheet for every game for Castleford in centenary season. Botica with the conversion attempt, strikes the post. That's the first miss for Botica in 21 attempts. 38-12. Saints remain in control, but Castleford with hope.
6 defenders were far too late. They were caught napping. See how they just hesitated, hang off. And that was enough for the big fella to get over. That was a great try.
And he had some strength, didn't he? But that's not the best kick-off. That sailed out on the full. And that's going to be penalty to St Helens on the halfway line.
Well, far too strong. He knows it as well. As soon as it left his boot, he turned, started shaking the head.
It made everyone scatter on the terraces, Steve-O. Never mind on the pitch. Now, this is Chris Morley who has come on. He has replaced Tommy Martin. Goulding to Vila Matautia, who also has come on. Cunningham to Hammond. Back to Pickavance. And Pickavance dropped that.
Let's play on.
No, it's a knock-on.
Well, you see Pickavance losing the football, but was a fingertip in there. And I think you find that Anderson had the hand onto the ball. Pickavance claiming to the referee, to no avail.
Newlove has been replaced. St Helens obviously think that this game is well and truly in their pockets. Newlove was taken off just before that Castleford try and the brouhaha between Tutor and McVie.
Another good tackle there from Alan Hunt. It's been a great battle between Adrian Flynn and Hunt.
And Cass have made a change. Grant Anderson off. David Chapman is on. And here is another try. And that's a great effort from Tony Smith. And Castleford aren't done yet, you know. Tony Smith with the try.
Well, you mentioned the thought that Saints had all got this game all wrapped up. And again, a poor tackle. The big fella Crooks. And as always, Tony Smith on his shoulder, stretches away. Well, how many times will we keep saying it about this St Helens side? They're basking the glory, think they're home and dry, and they go to sleep. And that's what happened there, but it was a beautiful pass from Crooks. Well finished by Tony Smith.
Tony Smith, of course, looking for a big game because he's up against Bobby Goulding. Botica from bang in front adds the extras. 38 points to 18. 20 points the difference. Not been a bad half for Castleford. Sykes and Smith 2 in 3 minutes. I was going to make the point, Steve-O, before all this scoring from Castleford, that St Helens would realise that so many times recently the championship has been decided on points difference, and Andrew Schick was seen throwing a quick right hand at Anthony Sullivan then.
Well, that was silly. Why on earth did he do that? All he went for was the ball. The intent, that's all that counts. Sheer frustration. At a moment where Castleford just have a sniff of getting back into this game. That's sheer stupidity by Schick. He won't get any marks by the coach, John Joyner.
Hammond to Pickavance. Pickavance takes the tumble. Cunningham to Simon Booth. Booth hauled down, and Andrew Schick maybe could have been caught for a flop there. The referee says play on. Hammond plays it to Cunningham. Schick gets him, but he offloads the ball to Prescott. He finds Alan Hunt. Hunt out to Matautia. Matautia gets the ball in field to Chris Joynes.
Beautiful tackle by Lee Harland. Tremendous stuff there.
Oh, lovely dummy from Goulding. Sean McRae down on the bench. And a penalty to St Helens. Quickly taken too. It's Booth who will play it to Cunningham. Out wide it goes to Hammond. Further out wide it goes to Morley. And Chris Morley scores for Saints. Chris Morley missed Wembley, but has played 6 of the 8 in Super League. And a Lions Cup winner last year, try tonight.
Well, put this down to the silly penalty that Schick gave away when it looked as though Castleford could perhaps get back into this game. But Morley won't mind that. He spun the ball out wide. It was good play. And Morley steps. Tremendous stuff. You could see Bottick had taken the huge dummy. Get out of the way to Steadman. Good play by Morley.
7 from 7 for Goulding tonight. Will this be 8 out of 8? Well, he's popping them over from everywhere, isn't he? A man on top of his form and on top of Super League.
There you see 2 defenders struggling to get across. One left out on his own, and once he had the step, Bottiger went across, so did Flynn. Well done, though. Well scored.
Lee Crooks gathers the kick-off in.
Well, I'm sure that would have steadied the nerves of the Saints coach, Sean McRae. 2 quick tries by Castleford, just only seconds after he takes off Newlove.
Here's Haaland for Castleford. Bottiger, he'll keep it going, as will Paramore. Whoops, back into the arms of Bottiger again. Then over the top to Chris Smith. Chris Smith taking on Sullivan out wide, and Sullivan dragging the Castleford winger into touch. And Chris Smith is not too impressed with the decision of the touch judge, and the touch judge not too impressed with the words of wisdom from the mouth of Chris Smith.
Well, if the man is kept moving, and he was, then that's fair play. Well done, Sullivan. If he's moving, well, we can do without that. Chris Smith having a few words to say to the merry flag waver.
Oh, Goulding saw Hunt was out of the traps. Good kick, but well done by Middleton. Oh, and he launches himself up the other end. Terrific play from both sides there. Great run from Middleton.
And rightly so, the crowd came to their feet. It was a beautiful kick downfield, and Middleton equal to the task. It's got to be a penalty. He's allowing advantage, though.
Steadman. Well tackled, but well played to get it away to Crooks. And quick hands to Chris Smith. He's going to have another run down this touchline. Dabs it past joint, but across comes Steve Prescott. And that was a tackle that a soccer fullback would have been proud of.
Good position in the game by Steve Prescott. And I think you'll find that it finally came off Prescott. Put his body on the line here. So that'll be a head and feet to Castleford. More pressure. Good play, though, by Chris Smith. He's had a fine game, and so has the fullback.
Castleford with the possession from the scrum, with Steadman to Andrew Schick, back out of the sin bin. This now is a chance for debutant David Chapman. Tutors the man back out of the sin bin. That's Haaland. Oh, and the ball goes to ground off the fingertips of Alan Hunt. That's a knock-on.
Well, the idea was there, but I'm afraid the pass was awful. And as it turned out, Alan Hunt made a play for that and did knock on. So Castleford, head and feed, more pressure for Saints.
Bottiger to Steadman. They're moving the angles well. Bottiger's back in charge, and he finds Chapman. Oof, crunch from joint. Welcome to Super League. Does well, though. Gets it away to Flynn. And great defence again from Simon Booth. Tutor. They call for it out wide. Chris Smith taking on Sullivan. It's been a battle royal between those two.
What a great tackle. Great stuff there from Sullivan.
Long pass. Saints went for the intercept. Ball bounced and that will be a knock-on against Stedman.
That was try time as well. Saints had moved up very quickly. You could see that Alan Hunt was out of the defensive line altogether. And if the fullback could have taken that, there was an enormous gap.
"18 minutes left for play at Knowsley Road, 44 points to 18. Matautia for the Saints. Pickavance now.
This is where Bobby Goulding has to start taking control now. Just calm things down. Do nothing silly. Make sure that he leads by example. Tell his forwards to work hard.
Nearly double the missed tackles from Castleford compared to St Helens. And look at the clean breaks that Saints have made, 10-3. Hit-ups, well, fairly level pegging, nothing much to choose there. Handling errors, all square too. Castleford have been kicking well in general play, mind you, so have the Saints. It's been a fairly good contest, but St Helens proving what confidence does to you when you're top of the league.
And that does build your confidence when you've got the half-back like Cunningham making so much meters.
Oh, lovely hands. Matautia thought about the pass, went for it himself, and got there with great strength. No wonder Matautia is a big favourite here at Knowsley Road. On for the injured Paul Newlove, and using all the strength to pick up his first Super League try.
Great work again, the link, and having the big fella running in the centres. Came on for Paul Newlove, who's no slouch, but look at him go. Bang, throws the dummy. He knows he's got the strength. He carries the ball in the correct arm so he can use the right arm to fend off the fullback Stedman. That little dummy was enough. Stedman did everything possible to try to get him down. Look at the strength there. Great try.
Vila Matautia. Quite a man, isn't he, to be able to throw in. Back to substitute tonight after his first start of the season against Warrington. And he played pretty well then. Now then, 8 from 8. Unblemished so far for Goulding. This probably his most difficult kick of the night. Doesn't matter where they're from this evening. 9 out of 9. Well, if it was a battle between the kickers, Goulding's won that as well.
Tremendous conversion and a good try. And St Helens, they really are on song now. Sean McRae, their coach, must be very pleased, but I bet he's not pleased with that. Not the best from Bobby Goulding.
Well, we've praised him all night about his kicking, and he does that to us.
Yeah. But what a great... There's a replay of it. But what a great asset. We talk about taking off the big fella, Paul Newlove.
Sivo, Castleford haven't found touch with their penalty.
That's the second occasion during this game. Unforced errors, you pay the price. But when you bring this guy out, Matautia, to play in the centres. He played his first game last week for Saints in the centres, and that's, well, one of the few occasions that the Australian McVie hasn't found anyone to get on the end of his pass. Sullivan was nowhere there. He'd moved on the inside. Looks absolutely aghast, doesn't he, the winger? But he's got so much depth, the St Helens coach now, Sean McRae.
Castleford have been losing in Super League recently, but this is by far their worst defeat of the season already, as Paramore, who has shown 1 or 2 touches, Junior Paramore, that he might be more than useful when he gets to grips with this game. That pass from Tony Smith was seized on by Lee Crooks, and Goulding wraps up the big fella. 50 points to 18. I'll make that point again, Steve-O, about points difference come the end of the season. Saints have yet to go to Central Park, of course, to take on Wigan. What a match that will be. June the 21st, and you can see it with us live on Sky Sports, by the way.
As you say, Eddie, that's why it's important that they do get points on the board. play all the way through to the last minute. Turn the 50 to 18, hopefully to maybe another 10 to knock on there. Pick a Vance. Castleford in with a great chance of spoiling the points difference.
51% of the football with St Helens as Chris Joint comes off after another highly workmanlike performance, and Andy Haig comes on for him. Haig now playing a non-playing sub rather at Warrington last week as Adrian Flynn comes up with another blunder. That's Andy Haig's first appearance, by the way, under Sean McRae.
Good ball and all tackle from Morley. Just shunted the ball away from the centre, Adrian Flynn. But that's why it's so important, Eddie, that St Helens make sure that they don't get their line crossed again, because points difference could be the difference at the end of the season.
It could be, and look at Steve Prescott. Steve Prescott against Chris Smith. He gets away from him. What a great try. The second tonight from Prescott. He dumps it down under pressure from Flynn. Didn't like the late challenge from the Castleford centre, but that move went from one end of the field to the other. And Prescott, a quite magnificent try that sums this St Helens team up.
How long they can keep him away from the international honours is beyond belief. Look at that, from a standing start. Botica just did not have the pace. Neither did Smith. The last gasp effort. And the fullback knew, he kicks away. The crowd go absolutely bananas. What a fine game Steve Prescott has had. And to be fair to Adrian Flynn, he committed himself already. Look at the angle there. He switched the ball across. Botica can only look in disbelief. Sit back and enjoy this.
And Bobby Goulding has got 10 out of 10 and goes top of the class. The leading points and goals kicker in the Super League has made it 56 points to 18. And we have still got 10 minutes to go.
Well, we were talking about St Helens getting vital points on the board. It could really go down to the wire. It won't be easy when Saints go to Central Park to play Wigan.
Well, next up for Castleford will be Warrington on Sky Sports on Friday night. And Paul Cullen will be leading Warrington out at Weldon Road. I wonder what he thinks. Let's hear from him with Bill.
Paul, on tonight's evidence, you've got Cass next. What about that at Weldon Road?
Well, they have to bounce back, don't they? And there's still a lot of fight in the Castleford Tigers, and they're not dead and buried in this match, and they're scoring well in the corner at the moment. So the lesson to be learned is that Castleford, won't lie down and die. There's still an awful lot of pride in that shirt.
There is indeed. Simon Middleton has come up with his second Super League try. While Paul Cullen was talking to us, they cut loose down the left.
Well, what Prescott can do, his opposite number can also make the break. Kept the ball alive, it was well there. Look at the step there. Stedman still has all the skills. Prescott run him down, but the support was there. Well done by Simon Middleton. A great run, good support play. And the Castleford coach, John Joyner, will have a few things out of this game to at least give him a smile. In off the post too.
Yes, Botica's conversion, the last one hit the post and bounced out. That one hits the post and bounces in. Castleford closed the gap, but I think there's only going to be one winner tonight. That's the Saints. But credit Castleford, Steve-O, for keeping it going right to the end.
Well, as I say, John Joyner can pick out a few items from the 80 minutes here at Knowsley Road. They have created quite some good tries, created the opening. It's just that when it comes to crunch time and hard work in the forwards, they just can't maintain it for the full 80. If only they could just get that little bit extra in fitness.
Well, they're also missing a few star names, remember. Goddard and Gay and Sampson, all out. The worst injury list that John Joyner can remember in his time at Weldon Road, and believe me, they've had a few horrendous injury lists over the past few weeks and seasons. But he won't be making any excuses And that game against Warrington on Friday on Sky Sports could be a real battle.
I'm sure it will be. As Paul Cullen, our guest there, see, he just drops the ball. But as Paul said, there's quite a lot on show from Castleford that will make it a little bit difficult for them. John Dorrie, the Warrington coach, I'm sure will be taking a very close look at the video of this one.
Well, I can tell you that the Warrington party are here tonight to see this. They came to have a look at Castleford in the flesh before they meet them on Friday night. And of course their skipper is with us. Adrian Flinoff, and Dick Edwards has come on.
Well, Castleford have certainly shown more enterprise tonight. They've scored some good tries. And it's nice to see that Graham Steadman back in top form too.
Here's Hammond. Long floating pass out to the far side. Danny Arnold. Giving Nathan Sykes a piggyback. That's Andy Haig. Crowd screaming for players moving off the mark. McVie now.
He's worked hard, hasn't he, McVie, especially on that blind side. Good work by the forwards, and then this guy here, look at the strength.
Oh, took two of them to bring him down. Cunningham. Goulding.
Forward pass. Goulding looks aghast at the referee, but he's not going to kid them. They could see about half a yard in front. Well spotted. Nice option, a nice try. He's enjoyed himself tonight.
Castleford get the possession from the scrum. Not a terrific record here at Knowsley Road, Castleford.
What a great tackle from Chris Morley. Oh, that was a bone cruncher.
Here's Crooks trying to salvage some lost pride.
Still got some skill, hasn't he, Lee Crooks? He's tried hard.
Chris Smith picks up the ball that was squirming away from everybody else. Doesn't get through Pickavance, though. That's the last tackle. Only 30 metres made. Good defence from Saints then. Steadman dabs the ball over the top, and Prescott's after it. Now then, the chase. But he steps around them as though they're not there.
Great talent. So confident in his play. Look at this. In and out.
Cunningham brushes off 4. They have him then by the shirt tails and force him out of the field of play.
Just loves it, doesn't he? Middleton says, come here. That really was a great run. He's such a talented hooker. Runs from the dummy half. Just confuses the defence time and time again.
That's a better run, and it's the substitute David Chapman, but great crash tackle. He loses possession, and then Saints lose possession. Andy Haig.
Fingertips there, and Haig, did he come off a Saints player? Perhaps he might have come from an offside position. There's play on though from the referee Robert Connolly. Touches the Saints player, and you can see he's got to be offside there. Well, they've got away with it. Either way, Castleford have the possession. He's had a great game in defence, Alan Hunt.
Harland, good quick hands. Middleton, good quick stepping. Oh, great tackle by Alan Hunt. You mentioned him in defence, you called it. And he has had a blinder, Alan Hunt. He really has. Look at this.
Not only that, he'd done the previous tackle. Didn't take a rest, just got there leading 56-24. Bang, lined him up. Copybook tackle. Head on the side. Oh, tremendous stuff.
He's made 8 tackles, the St Helens centre, Alan Hunt. Notice he's wearing 21. telling us, wasn't he, in Paris on the first weekend of Super League, that he was offered the chance to take the number 2 jersey, but he says there's only ever been one number 2 at Knowsley Road, the great Tom van Vollenhoven, and he would prefer to play in 21. He wants to be known as the only 21.
Most footballers I know, Eddie, over the years, stay at 21.
Well, you have for years.
I'll admit to 30 now.
Hammond, Briggs, Sullivan in. Sullivan's got one man around his shirt tails and then his tackle to the ground by Steadman.
It's good to see Sullivan back to his best also. He's had a troubled career.
McVie over the top, it looked forward.
Sure did. Good defence from
time,
Botica.
though, by Botica. Goulding. Kick from one side of the field to the other, into the arms of the Welshman Sullivan. Sullivan has got support there from Andy Haig. And Andy Haig, did he get it down or did he drop it? The referee takes time off to take a look. Our first thought was he dropped it. Let's see.
Ooh, now then.
No one's celebrating here, Steve-O.
Fingertip control. He must have lost it in the last half-inch.
It's buzzing around Knowsley Road. Did he get it down? Did he lose it?
No, I think that'll be okay. I think they'll give it to him.
Well, St Helens have decided, because Bobby Goulding's lining up the conversion attempt here.
No, that's okay. Good work, though, by Sullivan.
Well, here we go. We're all waiting for the decision. Tries given. Bobby Goulding knew. Bobby Goulding has got the ball on the little plastic tee. Andy Haig, his first Super League try. He's breathing a sigh of relief then. There's Goulding now. Remember, it's 10 from 10. Is this going to be an unblemished night for Goulding in the kicking stakes? Oh, yes, it is. Everyone's been over the black dot. Every single one from one side of the field to the other. Botica-esque from Goulding. He's on top of his form, the Saints scrum half.
Wonderful, unselfish play by Sullivan. Could have tucked the ball and tried to go squeezing at the corner. Unselfish stuff, back on the inside.
Nathan Sykes catches the kick-off, then takes one for his pains from Haig. And this now is David Chapman. And I must say, Steve-O, that Chapman and Paramore, when they've come on, they've looked that they can maybe add something. Here's Paramore to this Castleford side. Yep. They only arrived here Friday, you know.
Yep. He's shown enough to impress me. And Chapman there was a good run from the dummy half.
And there's no doubt that Castleford need the sort of depth that Paramore and Chapman will offer them.
And I must also say that I've always been impressed when Tuta goes into the hook and roll.
Well, we've just given Paramore a rap and he's presented a gift to Saints. And here's Cunningham.
Always sniffing around, isn't he? Let's get on with it.
We've had a thought. I wonder whether Cunningham will be moved from his usual hooking role by Welsh coach Clive Griffiths to allow Martin Hall in. But if he is, would Clive Griffiths be tempted to use him elsewhere in the pack?
Well, he could play anywhere, I would imagine, but I would perhaps think that they'd move Martin Hall.
Either way, you wouldn't want to lose either of those two.
No, you've got to play them both. They're both talented players. But as you say, you could put Kieran Cunningham in any of the back three positions. They wouldn't let you down. Oh, that looked a bad one.
Penalty's been given. Junior Paramore, we gave him a rap. He gave the ball away, and now that.
Talking about giving a rap, that wasn't a bad one, was it? One bad pass and one high tackle.
Goulding didn't make a meal of it. This is McVie out wide to Arnold forward.
Well, even the partisan Saints fans had to admit at that.
It's all over. There's the full-time siren. Bobby Goulding, I notice, is still down on one knee. But Danny Arnold came up with a try first half. And Goulding, he felt that last clatter from Paramore. But everyone around this ground is on their feet and giving St Helens a standing ovation. Lee Crooks tried all he knew, but he couldn't inspire Castleford to victory. But Goulding has certainly inspired Saints, and Cunningham, a rare, rare talent. St Helens march on at the top. The 100% record stays intact. It's 9 games played, 9 wins, 18 points, a 4-point lead over their arch rivals Wigan, and they go off to a rousing cheer from this Knowsley Road crowd. 62-24. Great match, great performance. St Helens have won by 62 points to 24, a big win for the league leaders. It's 9 out of 9 now, and their 100% record is intact. Arnold, Martin, Perolini, Prescott 2, Newlove 2, Morley, Matautia and Haig, and 11 from 11 for Bobby Goulding, a team right on top of their form. Poor old Castleford, they did well. Stedman, Sykes, Tony Smith, Middleton and Botica with 4 goals. 8,000 here to see it, and they're enjoying their football at Knowsley Road. So are these two. Steve Prescott is having a great season, and so too is
Steve. 2 tries, the Saints Man of the Match award. You must be satisfied with the night's work.
Well, yeah, I've improved my game last few weeks. I don't know what it was. I've had flu and all that lot. Lost a bit of weight, but just put it back on and I'm coming to now.
Improved your game with a specific purpose in mind? Were you after an England place?
Well, I don't pick the side, mate. I just keep going. That's all I'm doing. I'm playing well for Saints now, and I hope to keep it going.
And you think you are maybe at your best now?
Well, I'm getting 2 now. I'm coming 2 again now. Like it was 2 seasons ago when I first come into the game. I was playing well then, and now I'm just coming back now. I can feel myself coming back.
What about this performance tonight, Steve? How do you rate that one?
It was a good game. We've been criticised for so many points put in, but people are raising the game. Castleford had a good spell halfway through the game and come back in us. Maybe we went to sleep a bit, but who knows? But it was a good game.
Thanks very much indeed. Well done. Alongside Steve is Alan Hunt. Just happy to get a place in the side these days.
Yeah, well, I mean, unbeaten records carried on, and most of the lads are playing pretty well, so, you know, it makes it hard. Myself, Tommy Martin, we've had a long layoff, so it's, you know, it's great to be back playing and what have you, and taking a shirt wherever you can.
Well, that's it. I remember you saying when you got back into the side that was what the basis you had to play on, really, wherever you could get in.
Yeah, but now that I'm in, obviously, I want to make the shirt mine. You know, I want to put pressure on the lads that are out and make them work to get back. I mean, I had a good 9 months training, what have you. You know, let somebody else do it and let me try and, you know, keep my place. But, you know, it makes it that bit easier with the way the team's playing.
What about these wingers outside you?
Well, I mean, we've got pace to burn outside. I mean, Danny's playing brilliant. You know, he's an unknown quantity at the moment. He's coming to the game and he's doing brilliant. I mean, we've got Joey Hayes on the sidelines as well, myself and Sully who can play there. So we've got pretty much strength and depth on the wings. And I mean, Sully speaks for himself. You know, if he gets the ball, although he's not getting it too much, Paul's doing all the scoring at the moment, Paul Newlove, so, but when he does get a chance, you know, he's a deadly finisher.
You have been winning, you've been criticised for maybe just scraping through. Do you think tonight was a more complete performance?
More complete, but obviously I'm sure the lads they won't be 100% happy with it. You know, we let a few tries in, and I'm sure Sean will be working on that. We went to sleep a couple of times, but on the other hand, you've got to give credit to Castleford. They're a good team, you know, and I don't think the position in the league really does them justice. You know, they've got a good coach in John Joyner and a set of talented lads. So, you know, we had a job to do, and we've come out there and done it. Like I say, it wasn't too bad. It was a fast game, and probably that's why it was such a, you know, so many points scored.
Thanks, Alan.
Cheers.
Had a great game, Alan Hunt, didn't he? And there are the statistics from this match. Missed tackles, Castleford, 39 of them. 13 clean breaks by the Saints. Nothing to choose in the hit-up department or the handling errors. Kicks in general play, Castleford 11-6. And the top tacklers from each team. Ian Pickavance made 16 tackles. Andrew Schick made 15. Chris Joint, the same number. Frano Botica made 14. Carl Hammond, 15-14 as well with Nathan Sykes. And Kieran Cunningham and Lee Harland, not too much to choose between those two either. The top tacklers from what was a very entertaining match here at Knowsley Road this evening. And I'm sure that the St Helens coach, Sean McRae, is a delighted man, and he is now talking with Bill.
Sean, your last couple of victories have been fairly narrow margins. That was pretty emphatic. Satisfied?
Up to a point. I felt that we sort of threw the coaching manual out a little bit in some of our plays, and I was a bit disappointed with some of our individual defensive efforts to let Castleford not come back into the game, but to score that many points against us. I thought we probably could have done a little better in that respect. But you know, we scored a lot of points, and sometimes when you're that far ahead, you do tend to relax a little bit and your intensity drops off.
Points difference could be crucial at the end of this season, couldn't it?
Sure could, and I think realistically we haven't pegged Wigan back that much tonight, so if we're going to win the competition, we might have to make sure we stay on top of the table. But you know, it's probably not a crucial factor right now, but these are the sorts of games where everybody expects you to rattle up points, but at the same time you really need to defend well also, and I didn't think we defended particularly well in the second half, although our first half defence was excellent.
Sean, thanks very much indeed.
Okay, thank you.
Well, he mentioned the fact that they have to go to Central Park to beat Wigan and perhaps to lift the Super League title at the end of all that. But, Steve-O, Paul Cullen, there's a long, long road before we get to the 21st of June and Central Park and Wigan for this lot.
Well, yes, but they're well prepared and looking very, very good. And if you think you can take off Chris Joynt, Perolini, and replace these guys with players who want to get on the football park and when on there make massive impacts. You know, Matauji came on and was unstoppable. You know, they have guys who want to play football for this club and want to score and want to progress, and it's very, very hard to stop that.
It is. They're playing high on confidence. As we said earlier on, he doesn't want to be called the Invincibles, but they're looking like the Invincibles just now, aren't they? Because they're getting through and they're scraping home in some and demoralising teams like they have tonight.
Well, quite. I mean, they could, 2 or 3 weeks ago, have hit a point where they were not improving. Well, we've seen that stop tonight. 1 or 2 close games and a very, very emphatic victory. And we suggested that Castleford can cause people problems around the rucks. And they had the audacity to do that, and then they've paid the price. I mean, I thought McVeigh was outstanding. Every time he took the ball, he caused people problems, and then everybody wants to run off him.
And Bobby Goulding, Steve-O, his kicking from the floor was terrific. We didn't really see many kicks from him in general play tonight, did we?
No, there was only 6, and I think that spells out something, that they are beginning to become a little bit more confident. They've got the depth, they've got the subs, as Paul has mentioned. And when you've got that depth, Sean McRae, the coach, he just said they wasn't happy with a few of the defensive efforts from certain players. Now, once he polishes that up, they're going to be a very, very good side. But you can just see that things are starting to knit. Sullivan usually makes 2 or 3 bad handling errors a game. I don't think he made 1 tonight. Alan Hunt coming into the centres, making a damn good fist of it. And it's that sort of confidence that is going through the side, and they are changing. It's not the matter of how many tries that they scored, it's the manner that they created them. They were creating the gap and they were stretching the defence one way and the other, and that is a sign of a very, very good side.
Can they go all the way, do you think? Can they win this Super League title?
Yes, I think they can now, because I think it gets back to the coach saying, don't call us invincible, because he knows that there's still a long way to go. But he's got the depth now. I think the fact that he brought Martin on to start the game, Tommy Martin and Bobby Goulding, I think now they will mould together and create a very good combination. And I think that will be the nucleus towards making sure that they win the Super League.
And Paul Cullen, you know, Carl Hammond playing at loose forward, he was pretty impressive, wasn't he?
Well, we've got lots and lots of options. It's very hard to find a weak link in that side bar from 1 or 2 one-on-one tackles, and that was when the substitutions were causing 1 or 2 problems. But with the ball in the hand, they're basically unstoppable.
Well, that was the bank holiday weekend that was, and what have we got coming up for you on Super League here on Sky Sports later this week? Boots and all, Thursday night at 9 o'clock. We look back and look forward, and don't forget we'll also have highlights from Paris and also from Wigan on Wednesday night. Castleford against Warrington. Paul Cullen will be back on the show Friday night, 7 o'clock. We're at Weldon Road. The match kicks off at 7:30. The following night, it's a big one for Leeds. They're at home at Headingley against the champions Wigan. Leeds in a dreadful run of form. Wigan, of course, they will need to win to maintain the pressure.